How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet and welcome to another video. Today, guys, we've got something very interesting to talk about, and I am really excited to be just bringing this up to you guys, as I've been kind of speculating about if this is gonna happen or not, or if this was just a fake rumor for a very long time, and this looks very promising. Like, I am genuinely saying very promising, and we'll get down to why in a second. Now, if you guys remember, I've done a lot of videos on Pokemon Stars. Now, Pokemon Stars was rumored for a long time that it was the code name for a future Switch game of Pokemon. Now, what I think is going on here is something totally different, and I'm gonna get into it right now. Just today, when I was looking through some of my stuff, some of my feeds and some of my posts, I saw this one article from techradar.com, and what was really interesting about this article is that it talks about Pokemon Stars, and it starts off like this: it's practically written in the stars. Now, here's what this website has basically discovered, or what this person called Distify has discovered, and that is that there is now a redirect from the Pokemon official Pokemon team and website. There's a redirect that leads to a Pokemon website that has Pokemon.com/Hoshi in it. Now, what is Pokemon.com/Hoshi? Now, I'll explain it. Hoshi in Japanese is the direct translation of the word star. Literally, it's right there. Now, why is this very significant? Why is a single domain redirect so important? Well, if you guys do remember this, a really long time ago now, you know, about not maybe a year, but close to a year ago, around this time, we actually got a similar domain thing going on with Pokemon.com/Niji, and Niji meaning rainbow, and this was the code name of the development of Pokemon Sun and Moon. This happened, we remember, Pokemon Rainbow, I think, was also like patented by Pokemon. Rainbow was like a codename patent for Sun and Moon, and then eventually got to see the patent for Sun and Moon, like the actual Sun and Moon. The leaks came out. It was like, oh shit, there's a game coming out called Pokemon Sun and Moon. There was a bunch of stupid posts on Twitter and people just going nuts about it, thinking it was just a joke, but it turned out being real. And here's the thing with the same thing going on here: it's a redirect of Pokemon.com/Hoshi that leads you directly to the official Pokemon website. Now, why do I think this is not going to be not a remake, but maybe like a port to the Switch? Well, because there is really no point yet for Game Freak to move their games over to the Nintendo Switch. They've always stuck with the, you know, official main handhelds, and it seems like Nintendo doesn't want to drop the 3DS, like, what would you call it, the 3DS hardware yet, as they're releasing new games. They just recently just released the, what is the new 2DS XL or whatever. They released that recently, so why would they want to stop like their development of Nintendo, you know, like 3DS games and 2DS games, if they can still sell more units and earn more money? There's no point in doing that. And Game Freak, it makes it easier for them because it gives them more time, about, you know, a year or two, to develop a game for the Switch, while spending the current time they have working on a game for the current consoles that we already have. As we know, the Switch has sold really well, but there doesn't seem like there's any point to move an official Game Freak game over there yet. So I think that's not going to happen right now, but it will happen in the future probably. But I think for now, what we're going to be getting is another 3DS game and 2DS game, whatever you want to call it really. But we're going to be getting another one. And what do I think this is going to be? Well, I do think it's going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes. Now, you may wonder, why Diamond and Pearl remakes? Well, I'll explain it to you. The reason why I think it's going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes and not something else is because there's been so many hints in Sun and Moon towards Diamond and Pearl. For example, you know, it's based in, you know, the Hawaiis. You know, Sun and Moon is based in the Hawaiis. They say Alola instead of Aloha. It's literally is right there. It's based on Hawaii. And what does Hawaii have? Well, it does have Pearl Harbor. The first part of that is Pearl, so that's one little hint that people were talking about. Then you do also have a mountain in the Hawaii's on one of the islands called something like Diamond's Peak. I can't remember the exact name, I'm so sorry, but I remember one of them was called Diamond something. There are also like a lot of color matches that match with, you know, Diamond and Pearl that shouldn't be in Sun and Moon, because in Sun and Moon you would be expecting something like, you know, kind of orange and, you know, purple mixing together. But in like the fight screens for Team Skull, I'm pretty sure there are like moments where you see stuff like, you know, a bit of purple and blue popping up instead of, you know, what should be there actually, which should be something like, you know, orange and you know, purple. It's some things, like some tiny hints. But there's one hint that really spoke to me, and I'm gonna show it on the screen right now, and I'm really surprised not many people have talked about this one. It is really surprising to me that a lot of people haven't brought this up. But if you actually do this, and I'll show you some gameplay on the screen right now, if you actually go to one of the labs in Pokemon, I think this is on the second island, I can't remember exactly, but I do have the footage right here. I'm gonna be recording it and putting it on the screen so you guys can see. But if you go to the second island, and you go to this lab where you meet, you know, you talk with, you know, you get to just basically sort things out, you talk to the professor and all that stuff gets sorted, and then you continue your journey. Well, there is an interesting thing here. There is a bookshelf, actually 2 bookshelves, and in these bookshelves, there are certain entries that are really just fascinating, and I'm going to talk about them right now. The first one here, which it really spoke to me, is this one. Bronzong. It brought rains by opening portals to another world. It was revered as a bringer of plentiful harvests. Okay. Now, what do we see right here, okay? We're talking about Bronzong, a Pokemon from Sinnoh. Now, there's more about this thing that I want to talk about. Just way more stuff about Bronzong that I find interesting, because there are entries, there is information about this Pokemon that basically, you know, compares Bronzong to something like a totem pole, or, you know, one of those things, you know, I don't really know what those tiki things that exist in Hawaii, the things they have, like the giant poles and whatnot, that are really, you know, you see them a lot. Like, when you think of Hawaii, you can think of one of those things. Like, I'm not really sure how to explain it properly, but basically, there are things that point towards it being kind of, you know, kind of built in a sense that it looks sort of like one of those, like, totem poles. And not only that, but why would there be an entry here in Sun and Moon about Bronzong, and specifically that it brought rains by opening portals to another world being the Ultra Beast world, I guess. I assume that's what it could be, but I'm not 100% sure, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna give too many speculation there because I'm not sure. But there is more. If you actually go a bit further in here, there is a post for Giratina saying, this Pokemon is said to live in a world on the reverse side of ours, where common knowledge is distorted and strange. See, if you kind of compare Sun and Moon and Diamond and Pearl, they're very, like, mishmashed in style with each other. There is a reverse world, or a dimension beyond our own, where other creatures reside, aka Pokemon, or aka Ultra Beasts. You have Giratina in its own world, and then you have these Ultra Beasts in their world. And it's kind of interesting that both these games play with this dimension thing, where we have different portals leading to another world. Both these generations play with that concept, so it would not surprise me if what we get next with this quote-unquote codename Pokemon Stars will actually be Diamond and Pearl remakes. Now, there are a lot of people speculating over the fact that, oh, I mean, Diamond and Pearl, you know, may not come, maybe they'll put Fire Red and Leaf Green before them and remake them again. I mean, Fire Red and Leaf Green are remakes of Red and Blue, or Red and Green, depending on if you live in Japan or in the rest of the world. But my point is, I don't think they're going to be remaking Leaf, you know, Fire Red and Leaf Green yet. I think they want to remake all their current games that haven't been remade yet, and then remake the other games. It just makes more sense. So I'm hoping, and I do think, that what we're going to be getting next is going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes. And there are a lot more hints, but I just couldn't compile them correctly right now. I really wish I had more time, but I'm busy working with schoolwork. It's still right at the end of the year, and I just want to finish off my last few exams to get things done, and I will be able to make more videos for you guys. But I want to bring this video up, and it's really just interesting, and I find it kind of... man, I don't really know what to say, man. I find it interesting because this website, TechRadar here, I've seen a lot of posts from them before, and I know that they're generally a legitimate website, and I find it funny that they post about this as, it's just interesting. Pokemon.com/Hoshi. You guys can go check that out. I'll probably link it down below. Go check it out. Pokemon.com/Hoshi, and it translates to star, which is interesting. But at the same time, think about it this way. Last time, when they were hinting towards Sun and Moon, and when they were, you know, gonna be releasing them, it was Pokemon.com/Niji, and Niji meaning rainbow. Now, rainbow has really nothing to do with the moon and the sun. It really has no direct correlation. I mean, you know, there is a connection between, you know, the sun, you know, rain and whatnot, and then, you know, the, you know, rainbows being created, but I don't think they went that in-depth into it. I think they just use it as a as a simple kind of code name, and I think the same thing goes for stars. Stars may not be like actual stars, like, you know, literally being related to a Pokemon that is a star or whatever. No, it's just probably a code name that's going to turn out being Diamond and Pearl remakes. It may not have a direct correlation, but I just have a hunch that that's what's gonna happen. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and not many people, like I said, not many people know about these entries. I mean, people probably know about them, but I just haven't heard as much about it. I don't really see as many people mention it as I would assume people would, because, I mean, it's literally, they're talking about Bronzong here. It brought rains by opening portals to another world. And then it talks, not even just that, it also talks about Palkia, I'm pretty sure, a bit further in. Yeah, here we go, Palkia. It's totally, wait, it's total control over boundaries of space, enable it to transport itself to faraway places or even other dimensions. Right there you go. This is what I mean. I am 100% sure right now that this is what we're going to be getting. We're going to be getting Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, but if I'm wrong, then geez, I'm sorry, but I'm just hoping that this is going to be something, or maybe this might just be a hunch and just nothing, and just, you know, just nothing out of this. Maybe this is just us speculating thing and hoping for too much, but I do hope this may lead somewhere. If it doesn't lead anywhere, then I don't know. But there is another thing that I want to mention quickly, and that's also the fact that we didn't get any news really during May now. We haven't really gotten any major news, like direct news about, you know, any Pokemon games, which is supposed to happen because this is about the same time every year where they mention Pokemon and whatnot. But there was also Pokemon Direct. You know, Nintendo Direct, they do these like live streams where they show updates on what's gonna come for certain franchises. The Pokemon Direct was on their website for a while, but then actually Nintendo removed it from their website. And what this kind of tells me is that maybe they'll be announcing this stuff during E3. Now, that hasn't really happened before. Game Freak never really does that, but who knows? You never know. Things can change every day. Just because they've done it before doesn't mean they won't do it this time. You never know. I mean, it's their company. They do what they really want. They don't really follow probably, you know, exactly what we see every day. Maybe we're just, you know, maybe just looking too deep into it when it comes to the days that they were releasing stuff. But I think that maybe during E3 or maybe sometime later this month or next month, we will be getting information about this stuff, and I really do hope we get something, as I'm really excited to see what's going to be brought to us from Game Freak with their next game. I really do hope it's a Diamond and Pearl remake. A lot of people want to see that, and I would love to see that as well. I used to be not too big of a fan of Diamond and Pearl, but I actually found a really, really deep love for those games after a while, after playing them and fully enjoying them from start to, you know, finish, and that's why I want to see remakes on them. Then again, guys, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, then smash the like button away, and I will catch you trainers the next time. Bye-bye.